Maharashtra elections are the most interesting and most complicated to observe. Recently, on 20th November, the elections took place for Maharashtra State Assembly. And in this election, there are many political parties involved. And most importantly, there are two alliances which are involved. And the fate of these alliances is going to be seen when the results will be announced. Here we have two alliances. One is Maha Vikas Aghadi, which is led by Congress. Congress, as well as there is Shiv Sena, as well as there is NCP. But we have another which is called as Mahayuti Alliance. Here we have BJP who is leading this Mahayuti Alliance, and apart from BJP, we have one faction of Shiv Sena which is led by Eknath Shinde, and we have Ajit Pawar led NCP party. So interestingly, we have two parties which have got splitted and which are there in two different factions. One is Shiv Sena and other one is NCP. Now we are seeing an interesting phenomena in Indian politics, specifically in Maharashtra, wherein alliances are being made, but we do not know whether these alliances will survive even after elections. So here you see, the first challenge in this election is that there is no ideological contest. Usually two parties come into picture, one comes up with one ideology, another one comes up with another ideology. Let's say one is conservative, another one is liberal. And there is a contestation, there is an election which takes place. But here in this election, because the parties are split in such a manner that there cannot be any kind of ideological contest. So let's say, for example, if we talk about Shiv Sena, one is led by Uddhav Thackeray, another one is led by Eknath Shinde. Now here both are claiming the same ideology, but right now both are acting against each other in the elections. So even if they claim the same ideology, the ideology of Hindutva, or let's say they are claiming the status which was there with Balasaheb Thackeray, it's of no use, because people cannot see any ideological conflict as such in this election. Secondly, whenever there is some kind of a party split which takes place, and same party getting splitted and both these parties are fighting against each other, this makes the election much more complicated. Earlier, Shiv Sena used to fight against other players, let's say against Congress, against NCP, or let's say even against BJP. But more or less BJP used to be their ally. But right now what is happening? See, Shiv Sena has to fight against Shiv Sena itself. So right now you see this data. There are 75 seats on which BJP is fighting against Congress, which is obvious. But there are 36 seats where NCP is fighting against NCP. There are 51 seats where Shiv Sena is fighting against Shiv Sena. And this makes this election very complicated. The question is, after the elections, is there any possibility wherein these two factions of Shiv Sena can come together and merge to become one party again? Is this the same scenario that is going to happen in case of NCP also? Or the alliances which are already made, this Mahavikas Aghadi and this Mahayuti, this is going to sustain even after election? This is something we are questioning right now. Now look at the complications involved in these elections. First of all, there is some internal fight in this alliance itself. For example, if you take this alliance of BJP and Shiv Sena, you say that the Shiv Sena, which is led by Eknath Shinde, he is trying to woo Maratha community. In last few years, we have observed Maratha agitation in Maharashtra. And the agitation was to get some reservation in Maharashtra. Now what Eknath Shinde faction is doing? They are trying to woo this community so that they can get their votes. But on the other hand, when they are wooing Maratha community, there is another community which is OBC, which is not feeling happy with this turn. And OBC is being wooed by BJP. So even if these two are together, the policies or the agendas or the constituency they are trying to influence is relatively different. and this may lead to some kind of conflict, or maybe the vote share can differ because of these differences within the alliance, right? Then if you look at the vote share, see, before this state assembly elections, we saw Lok Sabha elections of 2024, and if you look at the data from Maharashtra, you will observe that more or less both the alliances have got similar kind of vote share. So if you look at this Mahayuti alliance, they have somewhere around 47% and Mahavikas Aghadi also 47%. There is minor difference of point percentage. So more or less their voting share in the Lok Sabha election was same. So this creates curiosity among our minds whether the voting share is going to remain similar in the state assembly election also. Now, if I look at what are the issues which can be game changer in this election, the first would be the Maratha agitation, which is already there. We know this thing. Second is this Ladki Bahin scheme, which was launched by Eknath Shinde. Through this scheme, they are providing almost rupees 1,500 in the account of women of Maharashtra. And we have seen that whenever someone tries to influence or tries to make some attempts to influence women constituency, usually they do good in the elections. So here we can say there is some edge to this alliance because of the scheme. Then there is another factor that is called as factor of independents or rebels. See, in Maharashtra, it's not like there are only 3-4 parties or 6 parties who are going into election. There are so many independent candidates whom we categorize as others, and these others, they get substantial vote too. Somewhere around 25% of vote share they have. That means the election results again become more complicated. It becomes very difficult to predict the result of Maharashtra elections because of all these complexities. So eventually, if I have to answer whether this alliance is going to stay, what is going to happen in this election, the answer is nobody can give you the right answer unless the results are announced. After the results, we will know whether these alliances are going to stay or they are going to break, whether the two parties which are splitted can come together. That all depends on how many numbers, how many seats these all parties are going to get.